Let's be real, life is messy. We all wrestle with loneliness, guilt, and shame.
Having a supportive community and the right resources can make all the difference.
That's why we started Healing Unscripted.
We're just three friends on a mission to bring hope and healing.
Whether you're struggling yourself or walking alongside someone who is,
we're diving deep into the hard stuff.
With insightful guests, real talk,
and a whole lot of heart. Join us on Healing Unscripted.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jen. Welcome back to Healing Unscripted. And please remember to like, share, follow, and subscribe.
Hi, I'm Liana.
Hey, everyone. And I'm Laura. Thanks again for joining us today. We are beginning our month-long series on recovery awareness. September is Recovery Awareness Month. This week, we are focusing in on health. And so we decided to bring Chris here to focus on health this week and how sobriety and recovery needs the whole health, whole mind, body health approach to help you through your recovery process.
Well, I'm excited and honored to welcome our special guest, Chris Ray.
Hey, Ray.
And if you don't know who Chris Ray is, people
that.
in SEMO, then you guys just don't. You're not.
You're not
Where are
with
you?
it.
Yes. Where are you?
It's
He's
true. Everybody knows
so
you.
humbled by that. Yeah.
He's
Everybody knows
international even now.
I
Yes.
am international.
He
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
I know.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I appreciate you all having me. And especially as your first guest in the health week. I take my health very, very seriously, both spiritually, emotionally, physically. I like candy, and as Liana was feeding me high chews as we come in.
You're welcome.
I was trying to show off. I do have to mention that when you all first called me to do this, I got a surprise FaceTime from Liana, and I happened to be hopping in the shower, so I was naked. At least.
So what you're saying is that was perfect timing.
Perfect
on
timing.
my
So
part.
I did my interview, 10-minute interview to come onto this, butt naked.
He wanted to put it. He's like, wait, let me put on a shirt really quick. And I was like, oh, no, you're fine.
I was like, all right.
We're
so
good.
You appreciate the health. That's a health part. Is
Do you want to
being
get on our
having a-
podcast or don't you?
Or don't you?
And-
If you put on
Yeah.
a shirt, you're not on. Yeah, I'm just so honored to be here, and I've heard great things about it. I've seen some of these, and I know you all are doing good work here, so it's much appreciated, and get a chance to share a little bit about what's been going on in my life since I got into recovery, and how health again impacts me in every single aspect of my life. It's an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful.
You have a fantastic story. Like it's pretty mind blowing, and I can speak on that because I've seen it
We've known each other for a while.
for quite a while in our party days,
Yeah.
and our not so healthy days, and
Yeah.
our not so conscious days. And it's so funny earlier when Laura was like, "Oh, Liana, you could talk about things, or talk about stories that we could get all the dirt." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't remember a lot of it.
I don't
It's
remember.
all a big blur."
And it's so great. Like it's cool that we have those stories, and it's like, in recovery and 12-step, we're always like, don't tell war stories, because it's health is also that mind health, and that involves like, hey, this happened in the past. We do talk about it because we don't want to forget about it.
Yeah.
But really, when I speak upon recovery, I do note the past, which in some ways, in a lot of ways, made me who I am. It's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of not so fun stuff. It also is that connection that I have
Yeah.
to a lot of people in the community of, hey, we knew each other back then. And a big part of my health is being able to change every single day. I'm not the same person I was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Nonetheless, when I started my recovery journey in 2018, I'm a very different person, and hopefully I get a chance to keep doing this thing, and I'm going to be a different person next year, the year after, and keep, I don't, when I think of growth, I don't think of this like never ending up cycle of growth. It's a winding path that,
Sure.
my higher power has me on.
That's life.
Yeah.
But it also
The way
shows
that-
people and allows them to witness
Yeah.
possibilities.
Yeah.
And I know because when I was in my lowest place, I would see people's recovery journeys, and I'm like, oh God, how did they do that? And then you just think, well, whatever they did, it's not in the cards for me, or and So it was something that I looked forward to, but I didn't think it was reachable or possible. And I think it's because nobody really talked about it and asked the questions. And that's why I think it's so cool on here. We really like to show people like it is possible.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
but the conversation has to happen. And I don't like tell war stories like I'm gloating, like I'm so proud of where I was, but I am proud of where I am. And I always tell people you don't know how far you've come unless you know where you started.
Mhm.
And I think that's what it's so cool about
It is.
these stories.
And I mean, just I sometimes have to witness
Yeah.
for myself and look back on where I was and becoming the person I want to be, and think about what was I thinking when I started this journey.
Yeah.
From being in Steamboat and bartending, selling drugs really poorly. I always say a monkey can't sell bananas. So I was eating most of my supply.
Not a good business model.
I was not a good businessman. But I was managing restaurants. I was bartending. I was causing a lot of trouble for myself, both personally and professionally. I felt like I always, was trying. I always knew that there was something more. I came to Steamboat in 2013, and I had lived with some guys in Tahoe years before, but I was living in Cincinnati at the time. I was running a Segway shop, which is the stand-up scooters.
Yeah.
So they were really popular, and I was the mechanic for the police
Okay.
and in Cincinnati. So me and my
For the
dog
police
In the mall?
scooters?
for the
The mall
police.
cops?
Yeah, well, they were in the street. Cincinnati actually had the largest
okay.
Segway
Oh wow.
machine, largest amount of Segways in the country behind Chicago, and we sold them all. My buddy had started the business. I helped him, and came on as the mechanic and also the tour guide. So I would fix machines, and I would go into District 1 police in a graffitied van with no windows, and my dog, stoned, and fix their Segways. And then I would ride around the city with these guys. I mean, it was fun. We had a good time, but I was also causing trouble there, and ended a relationship, which brought me to Steamboat, because I was like, oh, I'll go for the winter. It's a seasonal business. And I was like expoing at Slopeside, working at a ski shop, living with a bunch of bros that I had lived with in Tahoe years and years before. Actually, guys that some of them are still here. And I mean, we've known each other now for 35 plus years, and we went to elementary school together back in Indiana.
Oh, cool.
And
I like your statement of, "Oh, I'll just go for a season."
Oh,
That's like
you know
seems
that.
to be like
Everybody,
the doom
yeah.
statement for everybody.
Mhm.
yeah, and then you get the curse. you
Oh,
know?
totally.
And so I went back to Cincinnati, and then quickly came back, and I was like, I'm here, right? And I managed a restaurant, got fired from there, for using drugs.
How old were you when you moved here?
I was not young. I mean, I was like 30. So 2013, I'm 46 now. What does that make me, like 34, something like that? And
Someone has to do math.
yeah. So I mean, I was still like in the thick of it. And I work with a lot of men now, and that age between 34 and 40 for me, and I don't think it's an unusual age for men to really be like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't have any kids,
Mhm.
not married.
Mhm.
I'm fairly healthy at the time.
No, and that age range is the higher one for suicide.
It
for
is.
men.
Yeah.
So
And I
there's
look at
stuff
that
going
now,
on.
and it's really like, because we don't have a purpose, or we lose contact with our purpose. And especially in a town like this,
Yeah.
where, maybe you get injured. I know I stopped skiing as much because I was drinking too much. And you're like, why am I here? And then you're like, well, I remember at one point I had lost a relationship because of my drinking and other things. And it was 2017. I had gotten sick. I had gotten shingles. Actually, I have a scar in the eye from that, because I was so unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it was 2017. I was skinny. I weighed like 145 pounds. And this was probably a year before I went into recovery, but I remember calling the helpline, the Colorado helpline. And I had really wronged this person that I was dating at the time. And I felt this like sadness in my soul. It was, it was bad. And I didn't really feel it till then. And I remember calling the helpline and being like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I didn't want to hurt myself. I didn't want to do anything, but I just didn't know what I was doing. And at that time, I was probably, I guess, 38, something like that. And I remember thinking to myself, something has to change. And again, it took another year, but that was really the start of it. And I remember, talking to a stranger. We talk about stories.
Yeah.
And I know we were talking earlier about starting the podcast, helping women in recovery and hearing their stories. And someone just listened to me. And it didn't have to change that day, but it changed later that year. In 2018 is when I got
It
into
planted
recovery.
the seed. That was the start of it.
That someone would listen.
Yeah.
And it really, I was just unhappy.
I am proud of you that you even made that step to call a helpline. I think that's admirable because a lot of people don't even make that step.
Yeah, you were definitely searching. Do you remember, did they say anything that helped you? Or did it motivate you to keep looking for more answers?
Someone listened. And I didn't, and I think that's the impact of having something like this, the impact of a lot of the nonprofit work that goes on all over our country, all over the state. And let's zoom back into to Routt County, or specifically Steamboat. When we talk about recovery and we're in a recovery room, I've heard someone say, you're one of the 40, which means it starts somewhere, and it doesn't have to click right away. But if you're one of those 40 people in line that listens to someone say something, you've made a difference.
Yep.
And we always, I hear often, I shouldn't say always, we hear often somebody say like, oh, you saved my life, or they're talking about some particular person or event that was the change.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a series of events.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that goes down the line. And so that person that listened to me that night was a part of that series, part of my 40. And I don't know who they are. I don't remember, but they were there. And that's why I think it's really important that we have the resources that we have, or tell the stories that we do every day.
Yeah.
What we're finding out is there's a lot of resources. There's so many resources in this town, and I've been here, since 1990. But there's, I think, that over 200. Isn't that what someone said here? Resources of different kinds, but 200 in this small town, I didn't even know about. So I think it's really important that people are talking about it.
Yeah,
and that we educate each other, so that what I know now, and I'm using it a lot, like when I'm talking to people, I'm like, oh, did you know that we have a resource for that? And I get to share it now.
Yeah.
But that's why, that's what's cool.
It happens to me at work all the time too now.
Yeah.
Well, Laura's doing a podcast. Go ask her for a resource.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had a police officer, which I love the police, and they're so overworked, but he asked me when we were on a suicide call, he was like, do you know anyone else we could call? And I was like,
yeah.
Let me call somebody.
No, my brain just started working, and I was just like, I felt really honored that, but then I was like, oh no, like if he's asking me, that was interesting.
Well,
moment.
That's still reps.
Do you feel, and he knew about that, but first responder that could come for a trauma call, like besides the ones that were already called that weren't available in this town. He was asking, like, do you know anyone else? And I'm like, oh. Then I was like, the Hope Initiative, but it's not working yet. It's not on track yet.
No. Well, that's also just a side note. Marnie, did you just see the article in the paper? So Marnie, who just retired from the fire department, she's focusing on Routt County crisis, but she's starting a whole new thing that she wants to have this crisis-centered program for all the first responders. So that should include the police officers.
Let's get her
talked
on.
about that.
Yep, she's on my list.
Okay,
Yeah. So it's, resources are growing daily.
They are.
Yeah.
And being community backed is essential. And to use them, I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't need that. I can take care of it myself.
Yeah.
Especially men. I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, and I was like, they're looking for housing. And I was like, hey, reach out, even if the health partnership, for example, could pay your electric bill or to help pay your phone bill. That frees up some money so that you can put a deposit down on a place to live. And so when these resources exist, it's really important that we encourage people to use them and not look at it as I'm taking something, a weakness. You're actually helping by using these resources, because if we don't use them, then people don't see a need for them.
Yeah. And then funding stops.
And then funding stops. So in the grant world, if you say I have $200,000 and we only use $100,000 of it in a year, and then we go to renew the grant, they're like, well, you really only need $100,000 because people said, oh, I'm good. I got this.
Yeah.
I don't need help.
We need to change the perception of weakness.
Absolutely. And
I think for men specifically, because women can find a group of women and they can go right in, and we have no problem. It helps us. It does.
Do it at the grocery store at least once every day.
Just go to yoga or the grocery store or church.
The frozen food right by the ice cream is the best conversations, by the way.
That's where the good stuff happens.
I know you're depressed. You just grabbed 3 pints of cookies.
I know. Do you want to talk to somebody?
Yeah.
We should hang out at the ice cream section.
Totally. With our podcast.
We can do live feed from the ice
cream. That's the next stop.
Well, we should just wait and we could ambush men there. What are you buying ice cream for?
For their wives.
Yes. But are you depressed?
It's been really good.
Talk about it?
Men, we have to go to the beer section.
Oh, we can.
Well, not so much anymore. We started this summer. Back in June, we started the Steamboat Community Men's Circle, and actually right before this,
Men's Circle.
I sent it to you on your thing, and it's modeled after. I have a group down in Costa Rica that's a men's circle, and when I left here a couple years ago to step out of the nonprofit world to kind of reset my clock because I was pretty burnt out, I was seeking how to find other men, because I'm in the nonprofit world here, just as you were speaking to, I'm surrounded by women that are able to talk about what's going on. In the nonprofit world, we go to an event, there's 2 guys out of 100.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, how do I find other men to talk to? And strangely enough, through a group of women, I was at an ecstatic dance, and it was like 8 women in a Shakti house. I actually thought I was going to get murdered. They brought me down to the beach after this ecstatic dance, and it was me and this like Belgian dude with a 6-pack playing a guitar. And I'm like, you ever seen what's that? The movie
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. Oh brother, where art thou? Where they lure the men into the river.
Yes.
I was like, if this is how it goes, I'm kind of into it. And this might be it. And they actually introduced me to this group of men in Costa Rica that had a men's circle. And so I stepped into that and just fell in love with it. I was like, and I remember stepping into that, coming traditionally from 12 steps.
Yeah.
I got into 12 step in 2018, and I went to the Foundry and all that stuff. But stepping into this men's circle, the first thing I said is, I don't believe you. You're not forced to be here. Your partners aren't asking you to be here. The judge isn't telling you to be here. You didn't get fired from your job. Why are you guys here working on yourself with each other?
So you didn't think it was authentic?
That was my brain telling me that it wasn't. And it was. Yeah.
You had never seen that before.
I had never seen that before.
Or you weren't in that space.
And it blew me away. So the last couple of years I've been with them. A group of us from Costa Rica did a retreat in March in Northern California with the Mankind Project. And that was really the inspiration for me to start the Steamboat Community Men's Circle, which we've been doing twice a month since
I haven't even heard about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have almost 20 guys.
I would refer people to you all the time.
Well, here we go.
That point. Yeah.
I mean, we got a good crowd. It's good. We're growing.
That's
and it's
cool.
twice a month on Thursdays. At Out Here Yoga at 6:30. So we do 2 hours, 2 full hours. It's based around Jungian psychology. So a lot of the archetypes, the male archetypes, the king, warrior, magician, lover, and the shadow sides of that. So we don't just sit and talk.
Mm-hmm.
We actually do like workshops on like, how do you go through confrontation? What are you valuing? What do you value about yourself? What do you want others to value about you? And then we do a little body movement, things like that. We do a check-in.
That's great.
I've had some of the other men lead these things because that's what my group did. It's not based around one person.
Right.
It's based around each man stepping in and showing what they can can add to the circle because it's a men's
Because they're
circle.
valuable. Each individual is valuable.
And men heal differently. You know, I think therapy is really valuable, but it's also like, hey, I want to move my body. I want to learn from other men. And that's a lot of the stuff that we've been missing, and especially the isolation that men have in the mountains.
Yeah.
Again, say you get injured, say you're drinking too much. A lot of men here don't have families around. And or if they do, they're told they have to figure it out by themselves.
Oh yeah.
You know, and for men that are seeking community, it's been amazing. And I was just had a meeting with Laura and Kelsey from out here right before I came in here to just catch up and see how we're doing. And I talked to these men and I talked to their partners, and they're just like, this has changed my life, you know, and it's changed my life because I know that I'm not alone. And you get that thing that women have.
Sense of community.
A sense of community, a sense of togetherness,
support,
and
being seen.
And we have this WhatsApp group. The guys are going off working out. They're going to concerts. They're going to yoga together.
It's awesome.
So often men come to their partners. They're said to from their partners and from society, open up, be more vulnerable.
But
and then they do, and then they don't know how, and they get a response, and it gets weaponized. I mean, and so what we're doing is saying, yes, talk to your partner about things, but come and talk to other men about it, and let's get grounded first before we go to our partners, whether that's a man or a woman, whoever it is.
Yeah,
let's get grounded first. And when you all women say, come, you know, we want to hear about it. Honestly, it's probably more in like, you want to know that we're able to move through these issues with confidence, clarity, and groundedness.
Without codependency.
Yeah. So when we kind of want to fall apart, it's easier for us to fall apart in front of other men. And it's safer.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, safety. That's a big thing.
And you see that. And I mean, you know.
Well, what people don't know and what we need to say right now is that you started Soboat, which is huge.
Yeah.
And when I say Chris Ray, people are like, who? I'm like, Soboat. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about Soboat at first. And then, but that also, I really want you to hit on what I think is powerful about your story, about when you, like your low point when you went into the hospital and you were near death.
So that has a lot to do with
you want to switch those around, I want you to.
I got into recovery in 2018. I remember another one of those like points along the line of me looking in the mirror one night after a long night of partying and looking at myself and being like, you're sick. You know, you're sick. Again, I was down to about 145 pounds. I weigh about 200 pounds now. Before I went to the Foundry, I had 7 teeth taken out. I had, I had sinus infections. I had to get surgery from that. I was sick. I was brought down to my knees. That wasn't my low point, referring to what you were talking about. So I went to the Foundry, got into yoga, went back to Indiana for a little bit, volunteered at a yoga studio. That was a big part of my change in life. And I remember coming back into Steamboat and being like, what am I going to do? I know people that drink. I know people that are at the bar. I know people that are using. I don't know how to create community. And most of the community that I see, that's how they relate to one another.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I can't do that. I'll die. So I actually started Soboat in 2019 with my buddy Cole. And I was thinking of a way to get people together. It's just a Facebook group, right?
Yep. So
I said, let's go out and have happy hour and just eat. Let's go bowling. Let's go have coffee. And, one by one, we had 50 people, 100 people, this amount of people. And it grew, and then a little bit, but it was going slowly. And then in October of 2019, I was down at a party in the Boulder area, and I picked up a bottle of water, not unusual, not much different than this, like a tall one that had about that much liquid in it. And I didn't know what was in it. I filled it with water and I left the party. I drank the whole thing. It was GHB. So when I got back to,
which is what?
Which is it's like a Rufinol style. It's like a party sex drug. Say
Okay.
that, but
Okay.
yeah. And I was at a party where people were using drugs, because even throughout that summer after I started Soboat, I was still going out with my friends, being at happy hour, still hanging out with people,
Trying to fit in.
trying to fit in.
Yeah,
That's it.
because
Trying to
you're
find connection.
Right.
because at the age that you are,
Mm-hmm.
let's face it,
40 at the time.
yeah, you're not. What are you guys gonna go do? Like play
Exactly.
cards?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was found in a hotel by the maid. Luckily, I was bringing my dog out, so I had kept the latch open, and my heart had stopped. They woke me up with the what do you call them, the defibrillator. Gave me Narcan. That didn't work. They actually brought me to the hospital, Avistus Hospital. Thank you. Shout out in Louisville, and called my parents and told them I was dead.
Oh my God.
They had me on.
How long was your heart stopped for?
They don't know, but they know that from the time they found me to the time I woke up was about 22 hours. And so they actually had me on full life support, heart, brain, lungs, all that stuff. And I'm an organ donor. Shout out, be an organ donor. It'll save your life. And they were keeping me alive to harvest my organs.
Jeez.
And I woke up unexpectedly. And they literally they called my parents. My dad bought a casket. I grew up in the casket business, so he was a little ahead of us.
That's like, what?
Yeah. So he was like, called his buddy. Yeah. He's like, hey, line me up one up. But it was scary. And I remember waking up and they didn't expect me to wake up. And seeing my best friend Cole, my brother, and my parents were right there. And I just, I had a near-death experience, which is a whole nother thing.
I want to hear about that.
I mean, the short version of it is it was like me climbing up a wall with my teeth. That was like sandpaper. And I remember hooking onto the top of the wall with my teeth. And I kind of thought it was like a purgatory or like one of the levels of Dante's Inferno of, hooking onto that edge. And I looked up and the light came and then there they were.
Wow.
And I was in the hospital for another week after that. They said I would have, I do have a little permanent brain damage. I'm a little slower, which is somewhat of a blessing. And I remember walking around the hospital and the doctors would stop because I was just walking. After a couple of days, I was up and about again, and they would start bawling, and they were like, "You're
a
miracle," And I still go back to that hospital.
Do you think that was a miracle?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it is a deep part of my spirituality. It is one of those things that I'm super grateful for.
I just can't imagine because I'm a parent. Or anybody
getting the call.
Getting a call that even anybody that I knew was dead and gone, but little in my child. And then all of a sudden them just waking up. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, like life-changing for them too.
Yeah.
Miracle moment for them too.
I mean, you need to write a book.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That's what my dad always says. I'm in the process.
You should. You will.
Yeah,
you will.
Yeah. And I work closely with.
So you must have gotten up to take the dog out, and you passed out, and then the maid found you because you don't have that much brain damage if you're walking and moving and still living your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have like this 4 or 5 minute the golden hour is what you call it in nursing terms. But it's like 5 to 10 minutes and no heartbeat. Your brain. I mean, you lose.
My heart had stopped
A lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it must have just stopped. If they got in and started doing
Mhm.
stuff, which means under 5 minutes, which that part's a miracle.
That's a miracle.
That maid.
And she came to visit
That maid
me.
had some perfect timing.
The
Yeah, she-
maid did?
It's God. It was all God.
It was,
Wow.
That's all
absolutely.
God's timing.
What did the
Nerdy
maid,
nurse, by the
I
way.
mean,
That's where I
obviously
love
you didn't
her.
know.
All her stats, and you're so
That-
cute.
she was the maid? Obviously, you didn't
Well, when
know
she
that
came-
story.
Yeah, but
of
she came
her
in and told
finding
me.
you.
Yeah, she came in and visited me and was like, I can't believe that you're alive.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, and I work closely with families now where their sons or children do not survive. And I think that's part of my giving back is that, like, knowing that I'm super lucky that my parents are lucky,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody's that lucky.
Yeah.
And a lot of families that I work with, their sons were dear friends of mine. And I think it's sometimes you have that survivor's, I don't know if it's guilt, but maybe responsibility of hey, like life can go on. Because somewhere in an alternate universe, my parents lost, their child. And yeah, I hate that people have to go through that. And I'm so blessed that I'm here. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
It
when
adds-
you
it
say
adds
that
the
you're
empathy.
helping other families, in what capacity are you doing that?
Well, we do Connor's Camp Out every year. This
Mhm.
was the 5th year that we've done that. We had, I think, 55 people. Connor Bomberg and the Bomberg family sponsor that. And what that does is I mean, we had somebody come this year that was less than a week off of a overdose,
Mm.
and to see exactly like what we did with Soboat. This is the culmination. This is kind of the apex of it, and it'll keep growing.
Yeah.
But people paddleboarding, dirt biking, sitting around a fire, just hanging out, all without drugs and alcohol. And the other thing, without their phones, because that can be a cross addiction. So I remember like Brian Bomberg, Connor's father, we do a couple meetings around, and it's for everybody. The Health Partnership also helps us with this. And we do a 12-step meeting, and then another night we do an all recovery meeting. So for anybody that's in recovery. And him sitting around and being like, it's amazing. I didn't really notice this, that nobody's on their phone because we don't have service.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just connecting with
Mhm.
other people that not only are in recovery, but their families, their friends. We had a lot of allies that aren't in recovery come up to this year's camp out. And that really means so much to us, that people can see us and see that, hey, I can be a part of this. Because I think what the idea of Soboat is you don't have to be in 12-step. You don't have to go to a certain church. You don't have to do it a certain way, where, as you said earlier, Liana, we're all in recovery from something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that might be somebody that is just witnessing themselves. Maybe you're in recovery from codependency.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you can find people that want to do something in a sober mindset and have fun doing it. And we were really lucky to partner with a lot of organizations over the years. In 2020, after the overdose, so I overdosed in 2019, 2020, COVID, all that stuff. I was getting those COVID checks, and I was like, what do I do with them? So I just started throwing events with my COVID money. And we did a big one out in Yampa at my friend Dakota's farm. She was working at the time. And we had music. It was all alcohol-free music. We did graffiti painting,
So cool.
and kids like painting rocks. We showed Princess Bride on a big movie screen. We had
Fun.
musicians, and it was like, it was during COVID. So it was like, what are those people getting together? Like, I called the city. I was like, I'm doing this. Basically, you can't stop me. But I did it with my own money. And then I asked the Health Partnership and some other nonprofits if they would throw in some cash. And they were like, yeah. And then they were like, do you want a job? And I'm like, absolutely not. And then the COVID money ran out. And I was like, yeah, about that job. Yeah. So I started part-time with them. We started the recovery program there. That's when we started folding in, like the Health Partnership now has the RISE program.
Yeah.
Help Clean and Sober Steamboat, all that stuff. And my friend Sarah Coleman had started that. So I just started volunteering through that, and then eventually folded it in. And it really just, now it's, especially me being gone the last couple of years, during the winter in Costa Rica, I, do with it whatever you want. It was never like me leading anything. It's just, it was something that I needed at the time, and I still need, and hopefully somebody else uses it and needs it. And then I have all the other things that I do, that are based on health, based on wellness, based on spirituality. But that Soboat was the start for me, and it will continue to be. I'm buying this property in Costa Rica, and I do some plant medicine down there, which I don't know if you all know about ayahuasca and all that stuff, but I work, and that's we use the Shipipo tribe, and it's a controversial way of healing, but it is a great way of healing if you've done a lot of the work.
I want to hear more about that, because I've always been curious.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break from our sponsor.
At Love Life Sober Living Home for Women, healing begins with hope. Recovery isn't just about putting the pieces back together, it's about building a new life, one filled with purpose, community, and love.
Women can find more than a safe, sober place to live right here in Steamboat Springs. They can discover friendship, accountability, and the strength to grow, side by side with others who understand the journey.
Every day is a fresh start. Every step forward is celebrated, and every woman is given the tools she needs to help thrive, not just today, but for a lifetime.
If you or someone you love is ready for a new chapter, Love Life Sober Living Home is here to walk with you. Because every woman deserves the chance to live free, live strong, and love life again.
To learn more, go to lovelifesteamboat.com.
So I know it's like really controversial, but why is there such controversy with it?
Because it is a substance.
Okay.
You are drinking plant medicine. So it's a vine that they mix into, it's two plants that you mix together.
Mm-hmm.
I had been told about it through different recovery circles, and I have lots of friends that have been doing it for years. And I was always hesitant. And then this company, Soltara, who uses Shipipo healers, it's a natural way of them connecting to nature and connecting to each other through this plant, through this medicine. And it does alter your state of being.
So that's the controversy.
That's the controversy.
Mm-hmm.
It alters your state of being. And so what I did, I went through this company that uses medical, basically it's a medical facility. And I said, this is something I want to explore. It's calling to me. It actually presented to me because I had volunteered at a retreat center the year before in Costa Rica. And then they came back to me and they said, hey, we're doing a pop-up with Soltara and we want you to help because we know of, the stuff I do with Soboat, stuff I do with this health partnership. And we would like you to help do this and teach yoga and sit by the door. So I would, I did my own retreat, which was like a week long, and it was amazing. It connected me to things that I knew, and I had done a lot of work before I had gotten there, the 12-step work, the therapy, the physical stuff. And I wasn't going in looking for this substance to fix me.
What is the goal of the substance?
So for me, it was letting go. Still, we get into recovery and we have all these things that I'm anxious about, these things I want to control. I had a lot of ways of I'm going to direct the way that my life is going to go. And rather than looking at the doors that God was opening for me, I wanted to run down the hall, find the door exactly what I wanted, open it myself, and then walk in.
Yeah.
And through meditation, through 12-step, through my own spirituality, yoga, things like that, I now try, I'm not always successful, of slowly walking down that hallway, waiting for God to open the door for me. And then when I see it and I look inside, well, this is the one I'm supposed to go into, rather than yanking at each one and saying, this is what I want.
So that helps walk you down the hall, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's a great way of putting it. It really helped me know that it's all going to be all right. And there's not really, it could be a whole podcast on it.
What's the difference of that and like microdosing? Because mushrooms, right, are plant or natural too. And I have heard really good, amazing things about microdosing too. Kind of the same. Is that the same concept then?
It is. Microdosing's not quite as intense. You're in a maloka is what they call it.
What is that, like a hut?
It's like a hut.
Okay.
We were in the middle of the jungle. We were in a completely off-grid place in the jungle. I had to hike over the river 4 times, and you're using the Shipipo healers, which sing Icaros to you, which are songs, ancient songs that they actually go out in the jungle for anywhere between 5 months and 5 years, and they come up with these songs that nature has given them. And I mean, even if you're not drinking the medicine, because I sat with over 30 ceremonies in 10 weeks in the first stint with them, where I would sit at the door and then the maestros, even sober, would sing me Icaros and I would still recall them. So I won't get too far into it, but I mean, I would walk with my ancestors. I turned into an octopus. I heard the birds and the bees and the insects and the snakes and everyone sing with these healers. And it's a different way of seeing the world, which you can't really close that door after you do it. So it's made me a little more open to some things.
So to compare it to Western medicine,
yeah,
I think from what I understand, though, because we talked to Mike Lozano about it from Warhorse, because ketamine is legal here. So they use ketamine. So they've done ketamine for vets, for PTSD, using it for EMDR.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of, it's not quite the same, but in the US, they're only going to allow that, and it has to be licensed because it's so strict.
Yeah.
You go out of the US and you can go back to natural plant-based, and they're using it as a therapy. Am I right
I mean,
on
it's,
saying that
it's,
kind of?
I think that they're
So
in the
it's not
same
the super
lineage.
scary. I don't think it's a big super scary thing. It's just something that we don't practice
I see.
in the
Okay.
US.
Okay.
And they've been doing it for thousands of years,
Yeah.
hundreds of
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It definitely, I don't recommend it like for everybody. I think, it's, to me, it's okay. Say you're on you're on this recovery journey, and through all these avenues of recovery, your goal is to get to the top of the mountain, and you hike up, and you're doing the steps, and you're going to therapy, and you're creating community and all those things. And you get to the top of the mountain, you're like, oh, this is awesome. I figured it out. With ayahuasca, it's more like, okay, you're at the bottom of the mountain. The ayahuasca is this helicopter that takes you to the top of the mountain. It shows you these things that are possible, but then now you got to go back down to the bottom of the mountain
And work it.
and work it. And that's what the company
Oh,
that I
wow,
work
that
for
was
did
a really
lot
good
of.
analogy.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so
like
it's not an easy fix, and some people think that it is.
Oh.
And the company that I worked for, Soltara, did a lot of great work around integration. We're like, hey, now you have to go back to the real world
And
Yeah.
and do the work.
and
yeah.
do the work.
What are you wanting to do with your land that you bought there? Are you going to do something special with it?
Yeah, so I'm hosting. Men specifically because I have 2 cabins.
I love that.
And I've been renting a house that's just a couple of doors down, but really doing like health and lifestyle wellness design, catered to each person.
Mhm.
I have my own coaching business, Chris Ray Coaching. It's pretty easy to remember. And so really seeing
C-Ray.
C-Ray Coaching, Cray Coaching.
Right. I like that.
And really just helping them find out what they want to improve, and not trying to fix them, just saying, hey, where in your life do you want to improve? How do you also integrate this with your family? And whether it's, surfing, whether it's meditation, whether it's plant medicine, yoga, healthy eating, slowing down, I think is a big one.
Is there
Yeah.
do you go towards like prayer or
Meditation,
Like-
and if they have a connection with God,
Mhm.
that is definitely something that we celebrate for sure.
Mhm.
I think it's helpful. It's not always, it really helps people when they have that connection to a higher power. I know I have it. I'm not going to tell anybody else to have it, where I've expanded out of just recovery and looking into health and wellness
Yeah.
specifically for men, because they get that, oh, I need to be in recovery. It's like, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
you do, maybe you don't, but I can still
Yeah.
help you. Like, that's not the only place that I can help
Yeah.
you. And it's really, it's been a beautiful thing to see, not only in myself, but these men that I've been working with, just open their eyes up, and then come back and say, this has really helped me in this way. And then have other men come in and help me. These guys that I'm talking to, not only in the community circles here or down in Costa Rica, we witness each other.
Mhm.
Much
I
Yeah,
agree.
that's
We're
what's
always
beautiful.
learning from each
Yes.
other, and we can learn from their
Mhm.
stories too.
Yeah.
And I think it really
So-
helps when men see other men be vulnerable and transparent, because that's something that I don't think you guys can do that very easily in front of women. And so when it's just a man environment and you have healthy men leading other men to health, I think that's huge, and there's no distractions.
And you said it earlier. You said almost weaponizing our healing on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, I told you this, and now you owe me. I opened up to you, and now you owe me. And what we're trying to do is take that away.
Yeah.
Nobody owes you because you're vulnerable.
That's
And
the
we're
way it
going
should
through it
be.
with you.
Yeah.
It's okay, because a lot of us, men, we feel like, a dog backed into a corner.
It's defense
Wow.
mode.
And we become
Yeah,
defensive.
defense mode.
Yeah.
And you speak, we mentioned law enforcement earlier. I mean, a lot of men in law enforcement feel like they can't speak about what's going on, and they see horrific things.
Mm.
And then they worry about losing their job. They worry about losing their partner, and then they go home and who do they have to talk to? Their wife, or whoever it is, maybe it's their husband. And they and they're the only one, right? You're the only one. How many times have we heard that? You're the only one that understands, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you're not the only one that understands. All of us
I agree.
understand.
Not one person can fix one person.
Well, I think that puts a lot of pressure on the other person as well,
which makes it
and a
even
lot of
worse for the
obligation.
relationship.
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous. That's a good word for it. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Well, what is something that you really want our audience to know regarding health and recovery?
Wait, we're going to come back to that really quick after a word from our sponsor.
Cool.
Addiction is a disease of isolation, but at the Travis House, no man walks alone.
Founded with a vision to change the course of young men's lives, Travis House is where men find community, accountability, and faith, the foundation for lasting transformation.
Through their therapeutic residential model, daily spiritual growth, and biblical participation, residents here gain the tools to live with honesty, integrity, and respect.
Together, they learn to rebuild relationships with their children, spouses, and community, becoming the men they were created to be. The Travis House, where brokenness is healed, hope is restored, and men are set free from the bonds of addiction.
Something that I really think our listeners should know is that there's no rush. We're in this society, in this culture of we want it now, we want it bigger, we want it faster, we want it more in depth. And often with healing, we get that same capitalistic mindset of I need to get better. I need to be on this continuous path of growth.
And if I'm not, then I'm a failure.
And if I'm not, then I'm not a failure. I need to do more therapy. I need to do more yoga. I need to do, I need to work the steps again, which, all those stuff, maybe you do, but there's no rush. And that's something that it will come in time. Your higher power, God, whatever it is that you want to call them, will open the door for you. And that's something that I'm continually learning. I'm not telling I figured it out. We talked about this earlier in the thing. Like if you meet somebody that says they have it figured out, maybe take a step.
No, I don't need that. I'm healed.
I'm healed. Yeah, I'm healed. It is a healing process.
Sure.
And
till the day you die.
Till the day you die. And it's something that takes the pressure off. And if the pressure's off, then you can actually, as I said with that hallway, I can look at what's meant for me.
Is down and stigma is casted out. Like it relieves so much.
It's not just about, we have to say doing the work. We're doing the work. Like have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Play. Sure. We forget that we're animals that are meant to play with each other.
Yeah.
Go out and have a hike.
Take the pressure off yourself.
Take the pressure off yourself. Yeah.
Well, I think you've done a really good job with that, creating Soboat and creating those fun, sober events for our community.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
then you've
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. You've taken it even bigger with starting these men's groups and all the work you're doing here in our community. And now even international, Costa Rica, all of it. We really appreciate you sharing all that.
And I do want to mention, which I didn't, I've been working with CHOW, which is specifically to the hospitality community. I think we'll have it in my notes, but I've been working with them, and that's an organization I met 5 years ago. I just did a chef's conference with them in Vegas, where we have thousands of chefs, mostly men, talking
because you
about
were
their
a chef, right?
I was a sous chef and a line cook, but I owned restaurants. I was a bartender. But the hospitality in this town is so, they hurt, it's tough work. And we've been doing meetings at Dusky Grouse for the last 4 years, Tuesdays at noon. I had my meeting today. And that's really been, I love working with CHOW. And it's especially like seeing the people in the hospitality, men and women, be like, again, I get to tell my story for an hour in front of these other people that
who
get
understand.
it.
Yeah.
I think the big thing that I'm continuing my work with CHOW. I do that internationally. We actually have some things down in Costa Rica, and in the men's group, and really doing the health and wellness specifically designed to men, and then integrating their family. That's a big part of it. I was very lucky with the Foundry. They did a lot of family work, and the Michael Barnes Institute does a lot of family work now. Here in the community. So I have learned a little bit from them, along with my other works that I've been doing, and saying to men, you can do this, you're not alone. And you don't have to base your worth off of these things like productivity. And you
That's huge.
just
They
existing.
just need to be
is
told
good
that.
enough. Yeah, just hearing it, and let's have some fun.
How would people be able to join your groups or get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So I think in the notes we'll have both my Steamboat Community Men's Circle Instagram.
Okay.
For the coaching, I have.
And what's that called? Is that called Steamboat?
Steamboat Community Men's Circle.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what it's called.
super easy. We're actually doing a thing called the Whole Circle as well, where you invite partners in. So we're doing that out here in the next month or so. And then chrisraycoaching@gmail.com for information on my coaching business, which is all just word of mouth. I'm taking that nice and easy. And chowcode.org for my work with Chow and the wonderful work that we do. That's all grant funded and lovely stuff. So, and of course, Soboat Steamboat is a Facebook group. We have about 1,700 members now.
Wow.
Which in this small little valley is, what's that? 10% of the population.
Huge.
So that's really been great. And again, I partner with a lot of organizations, but that's where I'm at now.
I bet your
today.
family, I would just love to meet your parents, but I bet they're so just blown away by your second chance. And
They are, and I gave them a run for their money for about 40 years. So that's,
They're like, thanks for letting us pass.
yeah, they're like, thanks for letting that.
Thanks for giving us a break.
Yeah.
and
When I
all
talk
that
with
you're
people,
doing.
sometimes they're like in their 30s and 20s, and they're like, "How'd you do it?" I was like, "I was running around till I was 40." So you on the path right now, you're like 10 steps ahead of me. You'll get there if you want to.
Good. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, ladies.
Thank you for joining us. We just want to say a quick shout out to everybody who showed up for the car wash for Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st. We appreciate all of that support. And tune in next week to hear China. She's from the Love Life Sober Living House here in Steamboat for Women. She started that and she shares her recovery story with us and from where she came from to what she is doing now. And there might have been a few tears shed at that one. So I can't wait for you to hear that next week. And then just reminder to mark your calendars for Rally for Recovery Walk. It's Steamboat's first Rally for Recovery Walk at the high school at 9:30 a.m. on September 20th.
So that's
Remember to follow, or share, and subscribe to Healing Unscripted, everybody.
Yes, all those things. And to register for the walk, we want you to go to lovelifesteamboat.com.
Yeah,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.